talking about hashtag Blacklivesmatter. So, like I said, it's like a serious thing. Like it's basically a video where we're going to be talking about like the movement hashtag Black Lives Matter, and the video like features some students from a certain university who discuss the issues and with the use of certain theories such as intersectionality, social construction theory, and agenda setting. So, if you want something more interesting, probably go somewhere else and watch like cats videos or I don't know the newest or Britney Spears or Rich Pons song. Or if you want something that would enlighten you, then please stay tuned. Thank you. So basically, what you just saw is a video of a dead black person. I know it's kind of sad. It's what's going on in the media, like currently what has been going on, like even in the past year. Black people are getting shot, and basically what happens is that people, record their phones and then they upload it into the internet. But anyway, like I said in the introduction, this relates to, the theories I spoke about, or the theories I just listed, such as intersectionality and agenda setting and social construction. So please stay tuned to watch a discussion of students from a certain university, which I will mention, discussing hashtag Black Lives Matter. Thank you. So, hello, we're in an undisclosed location. I mean, you may know the place, but I'm not still telling you where it is. So, this is
Dorian.
and
Sarah. Kobana.
okay. So, starting with this, what do you guys know about Black Lives Matter?
I'll go. I feel like it's a trend to get black people more aware of the current events that's going on around the nation.
It has to do with like a lot of the controversy between treatment with police and how some people are getting mistreated just for being black.
Yeah, I think it's like to show that they're saying it around in America to show that Black lives really matter.
Okay, so what do you like? What do you think is the reason for why, like the movement is going on? Like, what's the reason for the movement?
Basically just to influence black people as to what is really going on currently with society and what we should do to protect ourselves at this point.
Okay.
I think.
And to stop the police from police brutality because what they're doing is not right.
Okay.
And I think sometimes it's just a start. Like government might not do something because they have a lot of other issues. So a lot of times it's just we have to make a start first, make it stand.
Yeah, I think the government is kind of like low key against us. So for that, no, seriously though, like it's I don't know why. Probably is a historical thing, past tense. But
Okay, why do you think black people are treated the way they are currently?
I don't want to say. Do I have to say that we started? I don't want to say that we started, but we. I don't know. I don't want to.
What was the question?
It's like okay, it's based off appearance because though sometimes the thing I'm not saying that all black men, but based off some appearances, like people just subject them to things that they not really are, like the way they dress, they make their hairstyle, or the way they
How
grow
they
their pants.
dress. What was the question?
Okay, so we're talking on why do you think black people are treated the way they are currently?
Oh, I think I answered that.
Some of it I think is like some people were just raised that way. So some people could be like maybe not their parents but their grandparents maybe were familiar with the racial era. So a lot of people were just raised to maybe stay away from black people or treat us a different way or maybe not be friends with us. So maybe it could be just a mindset and they don't know any other way.
Okay.
I was saying based off black people's appearance. I'm not saying not every black person dresses bad, but like this, Like when black men, males, they leave their pants down, or like the way certain hairstyles they get, like it does not, like that's not a really good
But
look.
white
Or,
people do that.
but I'm not, but
I don't know what weird
White people
common
try
to
to-
have
But
those
not-
kind of
but-
trends.
exactly, cause
I think it's jealousy. I think that
yeah,
it's a little bit of jealousy, and also black people were different. Like most of the world are, they're either white or lighter complexion. So we're kind of taught in society to not like what's different or point out what's different. So I think that's why.
Like I agree with you, but then again, like I feel as though that we put ourselves out there too much when it comes
Exactly.
to
appearance.
parents. Like
But then everybody wants to copy. Everybody wants to be tan. Everyone wants to have big legs. And white people wear do rags for what? Like people take our style, so it's like it's not because we dress
And
differently.
And
They
exactly.
copy it, and it's okay when they do it. When we do it,
But look what when people copy our style, most of those white kids, no offense, I'm not trying to be racist, but they end up being bad or crack addicts or they in the drug era. Am I right or wrong? They like gangster rap or something like that. If they really do copy black styles,
but if they do that, but are they looked at bad by their community?
yes, they are.
I don't.
I
Think so.
want
I grew up in the
to know
suburbs,
no
and people
crackhead.
did that, and they
Okay,
weren't.
okay, we're back. So I wanted to sorry for cutting it last time, but I wanted to bring in something. So you said I asked you the reason why society treats black people a certain way, and then already black people are kind of like in a but I wouldn't really want to use the word disadvantage, but there's a theory called intersectionality. So it's basically like intersectional analysis. So what the theory basically says is that it's an analysis that a society runs on various factors such as race, gender, class, and other things. So basically, in a society like America, for example, a person, you know, has more advantage based on their gender. A person has more advantage based on their race. A person has more advantage, based on their sexuality. So basically, if a black person calls the police, versus a white person calling the police. Okay, we're back and we're talking about intersectionality. So, like I was saying, basically, if a white person versus a black person calling the police, the response time is going to be different. Like in the white person's house, it's going to be quicker versus, a black person's house. So basically, based on a person's race, based on like sexuality, gender, basically like various people have more advantages based on things like their gender, their race, and sexuality. So yeah, that was pretty much what I was talking about. So like you said something about the what do you call it, the image,
Appearance.
yeah, appearance, yeah. So what happens is the media frames things, in a certain way. So like for example, if a news uh like a news show, it's like bringing out news and they talk about like a person who stole something, they always want to make, or like a black person who stole something, they'll make it seem like, oh, it's all black people that do that. They might come in with things like, oh, the neighborhood is known for being dangerous. They might come in with things like, oh, the person who stole stuff has a track record of stealing, thereby making you think like, oh, it's not just him, it's also his neighborhood. Oh, so therefore all black people think like that. So like in relation to framing brings something like agenda setting, because by making you think like, oh, it's all black people, that is like the agenda has been set in a way to make you, to alter your like mindset towards, that certain race or towards the subject or topic of the news. So yeah, that was like pretty much it. But like, do you guys think news stations are being fair with how, they report black news?
Yes, because well, yes and no.
I feel like they got better. I feel like it's even. I feel like it's
Yeah.
even. I feel like they still. There's some stuff where they make black people look bad.
They
but
over exaggerate
Yeah, they might-
the news.
Yeah, but at the same time, when there's like those cases like Eric Gardner or those people who didn't do nothing in the videos, like they didn't do nothing, or like, what was his name? He got shot with the hoodie.
Oh,
Trayvon.
Trayvon Martin.
Okay.
Like people like him, look how like the whole world knew about their cases. Like all of America knows about their cases. So yes and no.
I feel like they
Yeah.
they show.
I mean, they make it known, but like I know recently, CNN, they were talking about Michael Brown, and in the article, they put the fact that his dad was a heroin addict. Like that stuff is not needed, so they
Oh, yeah.
put the information out, but they still got to shade, like still be
to make it right.
insult them, you know.
Yeah,
Like
that's
his
true.
dad being on heroin has nothing to do with what happened, but they want to make it known. Like
They're trying to
Yeah.
find a way to make it seem as though there's a reason for his actions, or probably it was his fault, or leaning towards
Or
more
his
to
mom,
him than
yeah.
the police officer.
I mean,
They
again,
will search. They'll do so much research on him than the police officer. Like not about his history, but the child's history. What about him? No history about killing other. There's just no research on him. It's just always about the black victim, and it's sad. That's
I mean, like I was saying, it goes back to, agenda setting. Like when a black person does something, they're like, oh, he's violent, oh, he's dangerous. Whereas when a white person does something, like the person in the Charleston case, they were like, oh, he has like mental issues
They
and
always say that. They always
yeah.
go for the insanity case.
who,
They
for
always
who?
go
White
for that.
people?
Yes.
They love being crazy.
Yeah, they love saying that they're crazy. They always go for that. A black person would just be convicted right then and there, but no, they give that white person a chance.
And
to
it's
be
And another
they
trial.
give white people
Yeah.
a chance and call them crazy, but they'll point out, that a black person came from a troubled home, or dad was missing, or parents who had drug problems, but they won't excuse their behavior like they do white people. So they'll bring out the negatives, but they're not going to excuse it. But they do it for
Mhm.
someone that's white.
Okay. They're experiencing their First Amendment, freedom to speech. So,
which is priceless sometimes.
so like, how do you guys, like, do you think the news sometimes is being like false with the stereotypes they give out?
I feel like they leave stuff out.
Sorry, you
I feel
said
like
they.
they don't tell us.
They're just putting out unnecessary information. I don't say it's false, but it's just unnecessary information. Like we don't need to know all this past tense information. We want to know what's going on, Just again to lean in more towards the black victim. And they always do that for almost every person who actually died, actually. They'll say, oh, this person actually had a X, Y, and Z. Well, it didn't relate to the fact that he died. What about the officer?
Yeah, exactly. It
What
took
about
us-
him? What about his history? What he did? What's his past? There's nothing about them. It's always about us and our history. Always low income family. Mother don't work. She's this. Oh, parent
That's
father's
not-
arrested
yeah,
for
that's not
drugs
their
and da da da.
business.
Well, we don't need to know all of that. We need to know him, the person who
But-
killed the child.
But they could say that in regards to saying like they feel bad for the family, like as in like they're not using it to make bad people look bad. They're just saying it because they want people to feel bad and like people want change in America. Like why would you do that to a family that basically has nothing? I guess they could say that, but but what she's saying is right. They should. It's none of their business
Yeah.
to put stuff like that on the news.
So basically, you guys decode the agenda setting and the framing because, like, based on what you guys said, you said, oh, it's always about the black victim, always about the black victim. So which means like that they frame the news in a certain way.
Yeah, it's like for example, if a white victim gotten shot recently, right? We're not gonna know anything about that person, like family issues, psychological, nothing. But when it comes to the black victim, we basically know the whole bio from beginning to end.
She's right, cause there's this. I don't remember his name. I think it's the guy who shot in the movie theater in Manhattan. I don't know
Oh, yeah,
nothing
he,
about that guy.
He in the movie theater.
Oh,
Yeah, I
the,
don't know.
like the red hair.
Yeah, I don't know nothing
Oh.
about that guy. He was the only thing I knew that he pretended to be the Joker, and then they found some notebook that he wrote saying that he wanted to do it, so he wasn't crazy. But they didn't say nothing about his past. Like he could have been like how he got crazy. Like he could have been on drugs. He could have been doing this. He could have been doing that. They didn't say nothing about his past. So I don't know nothing about that guy, but I know everybody knows probably about Trayvon Martin's parents or Mike Brown, what he
Yeah, and
did.
everything
Like
about their history, where they live,
exactly.
their income, the father. Where's the father at? It doesn't relate to any of that. Why you want to know where the father at? But I don't think it's gonna change, honestly.
Like the way how the
Society is so harsh when it comes to black
Even-
overall. So for us, we could keep trying with this, black power thing, but it's to me, I really think it's priceless.
But it's been like that ever since back in the day too.
I feel like it's
And
getting
there's
better.
no
It's gonna
change.
be
Like it,
We just need to stick together as one and actually empower what we have to do. And we're trying, but it's.
Okay, I was just to ask one. This pretty much going to be like the final question. So, do you guys think it's normal, for how black people are treated the way they are? Because it's not just like, what do you call it? Like, it's not just black people like in America. It's also like Africans and also Asians. Like they always portray the Africans as sort of like we live on treetops and stuff, and then they always portray like let's say Middle Eastern people, for example, which are people who the Middle Eastern and the Arabian people as like violent. Like whenever you see like a Middle Eastern person in a movie or like video game or TV show, they're always the ones with like the guns and the stuff like that, like shooting and the bombing. So do you all think like it's normal or there's something behind it?
You're saying that we think it's normal of how they're treated?
Yeah, like the normal. Like, do you think the perception of like
I don't think
Well, no.
it's not normal, but it's
How they
accept. I
present
say
themselves.
no, but it's based off like I said, it's based off like back in the day, true say, cause it's like
I'm saying it's passed down.
yeah, it's like like he said before, it's like passed down because it's like from like I think it started with the music era to be honest, because like when people started rapping about shooting, all that stuff being hard, but they wasn't rapping about shooting. That's what they do. They was rapping about what they see in the neighborhood, like how they don't get along with each other, and that's not what they do intentionally. It's not like that's not what black people do, but that's what they see. That's not like it's not like their fault or stuff like that. Like, cause it's just tough times out here, so people start robbing, doing other stuff. So it's like I don't think cause I understand what you're saying about is it but
It's not.
it's not normal, but it's like
It's tolerated.
no, it's not tolerated. It's like the way we portray ourselves is like it's the way we portray ourselves. The way certain people make us look is like yeah, it would be the norm, but it's not. You understand? Like people like us, we're not like those kind of people. But there's other people that yeah, they would like
There are
be the
people
norm
like that,
to
but
other
that
people.
doesn't make the whole group sound like that.
Yeah, I understand that. That's what's wrong with America. They would see the bad. They would see the bad blacks, and think that's every single black person, instead of looking for seeing that everybody's not the same. So
Okay. So basically, why I asked that question was is in relation to social construction theory. So it's a theory that states that a person doesn't just come out thinking like, oh, an African person lives on a treetop, a Middle Eastern person or an Arabian person is violent with guns and bombs, or you know, all black people are supposed to, like what do you call it, shoot each other and sell drugs. It's all part of social construction, in which social construction states that a person doesn't just develop a mentality or a lifestyle. The society makes you what do you call it, take that lifestyle as yours, or like the society like instills that idea on you. So like for example, if a person gives birth to a child and the child is a boy, and then they think, oh, a blue blanket is nice because boys like blue. Some boys like green, some boys like even pink, but society makes you think like, oh, blue is the color for boys. So yeah. So do you think this pretty yeah, I said this was the final question last time. This is really the final question now. So do you think the news that is like being brought out, is put in my is attributed towards African American people?
I don't think it's directly pointed at us, but I feel like we're one of the subjects or one of the areas where they portray us in the way that they feel.
I'm gonna keep it a
we
start. Every time I watch the news, I either see somebody got robbed, somebody's robbing someone, or stuff like that, and I see a black person's face. I rarely see white crimes. Yeah, I rarely see white crimes in America in American news unless it's a really big white crime. On the other hand, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of white people who do a lot of crimes. They just don't. They just like don't put it on the news because they just don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It could be like that. It couldn't be like that. But all I know is, yeah, I do be seeing what you said about if it's aimed towards African Americans, it probably might be. So I don't know. But the majority of the times, if you see white people on the news, it's about running for elections or
I feel like they use the news as a tool.
yeah,
Like it's
to
not.
make
I don't feel like the whole. I don't feel like news in general is at us, but I feel like people that are trying to bring black people down use the news as a tool.
Okay, so you guys basically don't think the news has been like brought out to the public is aimed at something that can relate to a black person?
No, no, I don't think the news in itself is. But I feel like some people, a lot of people that are in the news, they use their power where they're at to make the black people look bad.
Okay, so what was I about to say? Like you said, sometimes they choose the news on like what they want to show, like if a white person does something versus if a black person does something. That is actually under a theory called censorship. So in which censorship is a theory which kind of I wouldn't use the word states, but it's a theory that is based on how media houses and also even the government choose the type of media or the sort of media or the subject, the type of media or the would I say topic, in which the media is concerned with. They choose and allow it. It's a system on how they choose and allow it to go into the public. So, like for example, in some certain countries, underage marriage is allowed. So those people who believe it's okay, underage marriage is okay, they could even put it on the news that, oh, this person threw a nice wedding of his 13-year-old bride, and then the 40-year-old groom's mother was really happy. Whereas in America, they wouldn't want to do that because it might make you think like, oh, that's normal things those people are doing, or it might alter how you think. So basically, they censor such kind of thing outside or out of the country. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So like in general, overall, are you guys do you think the portrayals of like black people in the media is like fair or correct?
It's not. It's not fair, but it's getting. I'll say there's progress, but it's not fair.
It's not
Okay,
Honestly, it's not fair.
you think it's fair?
But, sorry,
And it's okay.
I feel as though we need to make or prove them wrong. And
Yeah, but
one of the ways is to decrease violence and
But
crime. If
but,
we decrease violence and crime, what else would they put in the news?
but
They have to put up like violence and all the other crap that's going on.
But I personally believe you shouldn't say the same Black Lives Matter. I think that's a retarded saying. I think it's all lives matter to me. I don't think we should say Black Lives Matter because it just shows that we as a race,
Care
like,
about us.
yeah, just care about ourselves. Cause and it's not the case. Cause we don't only care about ourselves. We care about actually everybody.
I
To be
feel-
honest.
Yeah, I feel like we stress so much trying to say we're equal to everybody else that we're setting ourselves apart.
Yeah,
The biggest
exactly.
thing is trying to get away from it.
Like what? Like I understand. Yeah, that Black lives do matter, but so do white lives. Like you making it seem like the way they say it, like they wanna do something bad to keep Black
Like,
lives from
revolt.
keep living on. Yeah, like I don't understand the way they say it. That's why I say I think it's all lives matter. That's what they should say instead of just saying Black lives. Because just like you said earlier, like
Mhm.
they do this to Asians. It's not only us. It's Asians. They do this to other immigrants too. Like we do, but I would be tight if they started killing us in a video game too. To be honest, because those video games, where the main enemy is always Russians or Asians or like it's never Americans. Americans are always the heroes, but we know
The enemy is usually the black person. There's always
that's
black person
true.
always the first one to die.
Yeah, exactly. In the movie too, like that too. So like I said, all lives matter, not just black. I understand we get it the most, but all lives matter. That's how I feel.
Okay. Okay, I want to thank you guys. I want to thank you all for your participation, and I really do appreciate it. And I'm sure my professor, Dr. T, will be happy to know that Lincoln students know the truth. So, thank you.